I saw
So
that too. I saw I
I
saw
was
that as
like,
well.
I told my husband, I'm like, hold down the fort. I've got shit to do. Like, do you have this under control? I like lathered them with sunscreen, made sure breakfast was done, and then I'm like, peace, I'm going upstairs.
That's the best. You know what I did notice on your story when you showed your kids just a second ago is that there's a bat on the ground that has a Giants logo on it. So wait a minute, who's the Giants fan?
Me.
So by the way, I'm a huge Giants fan. This is a Padres hat because of
What?
our Compass sponsorship. But I was born and raised in Sacramento. I'm a huge Giants, Niners, and Sacramento Kings fan. All
What?
Northern California
I
sports.
did not. Well, I'm originally from the Bay Area.
No, I didn't know that. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. I caught that.
I was born in San Francisco. My dad's side of the family immigrated from Greece directly to San Francisco, which is unusual. Not a lot of Greeks come directly to San Francisco, but
Yeah.
my great grandfather and my grandfather drove the Muni.
Okay.
My yaya had a deli. Like my dad was a cop, so it was like I grew up on the peninsula in Burlingame, and so we were diehard Giants Niners fan. In fact, when they tore down Candlestick Park, I bought my dad's season ticket seats.
Oh, no way.
He had from the 1970s, he had been a season ticket holder since the 70s for the Giants and the Niners. Yeah. And so we have the orange seats from Candlestick Park in our backyard.
Yeah, that's so rad. Yeah, I grew up in Sacramento. We went to more A's games than Giants because Oakland was closer than San Francisco. And my dad was an A's fan, but I was a huge Giants fan. Will Clark, Matt Williams, back in the old days.
Oh my God.
And then coming down to San Diego, now we have the Compass sponsorship through the Padres, and I live downtown. The ballpark's right there, so I have the hat. But huge Giants fan. So I did notice that very faintly on the side of a bat in your little video there. So good for you. Now I didn't know this, and now we've even connected even better.
Well, and quick funny story before we dive into it, since we're on the baseball stuff, and this would have been baseball season. Because my family was such diehard Giants fans, when I moved to LA, it was like, how dare you?
Oh, yeah.
How dare you move to LA? And then my now husband, at the time we were just boyfriend, girlfriend, he took me to a Dodger game, and I was like, it's sunny. It was Cinco de Mayo. And he's like, here, just go ahead and wear this hat. So I wore a Dodger hat.
Ooh.
And he's like, don't worry, I won't tell your dad. I got hit by a foul ball.
No.
I swear to God. I got
you
drilled. It was like a shank. We were sitting up in the upper deck of right field, and this Mets player shanked it, and it came straight for my nose. And I went like this, and I got a deep tissue bruise on my hand. And my dad was like, that's what you get.
That's what you get. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And there's the one thing that a San Francisco Giants fan and San Diego can agree on is that we hate the Dodgers. And so you put that hat on, it's absolutely going to happen. Karma, as someone said in the comments. It's exactly true.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what quarantine is like in the DiCarlo household right now, because it looks like a fun time over there.
It's a fun time once it's past 5 o'clock and you can have a little, take the edge off, if you will.
I don't know that 5 o'clock matters anymore, Taya. I mean, we always say at the house, the quarantine rules are airport rules, right? You can drink whenever you want. Right. You wear sweats all day. Doesn't matter.
That's actually a really good way of putting it. Airport rules.
Yeah, airport rules apply.
So what's it like in the DiCarlo household? Well, I'll be completely candid with you. In the beginning, it was a sad, sad place. I will be honest with you. I totally cried in my pantry. I remember specifically when the stay-at-home order happened, and I was like, Vinny, you should go to Whole Foods and blah, blah, blah. And it was 9:30 at night right before they closed. And there was a line to get into Whole Foods, day one of quarantine. And I just sat in my pantry and cried. Yeah. Once the kids went down, I was like, what's going to happen? Change is so hard regardless. And I was at this killer momentum beginning of the year. Yeah. I started the year strong with over 7 million closed within the first 2 months of the year. I was on track to literally do my best year ever. And, spoiler alert, I still am. But for a minute there, I had an additional $6 million in escrow that poof was gone. Yeah. And it was scary. And not to say that there are people who are far worse, right? Losing their jobs and that sort of thing. But for my reality, for that moment in time, it was very scary and very stressful. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't fight with my spouse, tensions were high, and all of a sudden you don't have childcare. And I have a 3.5-year-old son with a lot of energy. And then an almost 6-year-old son who's great. But all of a sudden we didn't have any support. And it was really stressful. And now I feel like we've gone through almost like the stages of mourning where you're angry and then you're sad and then you're in denial and then you're hysterical, right? And then all of a sudden you get to this weird point of almost acceptance where you sit back and you go, okay, I can only control a few things. So I'm going to focus on what I can control. And then from there, it's like all of a sudden beautiful things can happen. Like I just put a deal in escrow down the street from me off market with a guy, you know, someone had passed away and I knew the family and I sent them flowers. And before you know it, I'm out there talking with him a couple weeks later and he tells me he wants to sell. And I'm like, I've got a buyer for you. And boom, that deal would have never happened had I not been home.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing is, I was in this very similar boat. Like it was, I think the stay-at-home order was like March 16th or 17th or whatever it was. But really in our reality, we had a lot of luxury listings at the moment and the stock market crashed like February 24th. It was like 3 weeks before the stay-at-home order because everything was kind of set. And for us, that was D-Day. We lost 6 or 7 contracts within a 10-day span of about $10 million. And now I don't know that those people are necessarily, they're probably just on the sidelines. You know what I mean? Like they didn't necessarily not want to buy or sell. It's just, they're waiting to see what happens.
It's postponed.
And so it's postponed 100%. And we had a fantastic quarter 1. It would have been our best, you know, extrapolated out, would have been our best year. And now quarter 2 has absolutely slowed down, but it's just completely changed the reality. There's a ton of new opportunities, like the person that you met outside that are happening that wouldn't have happened had we been at normal work. You know what I mean? And if you get into the mindset that, oh crap, my year's over, or oh crap, woe is me, you're going to lose. But if you find a way to regroup, circle the wagons, figure out what's going on, regroup, and then continue on, you're going to find out that those are the people that really win. So good on you, first of all, for talking to that guy outside. So one of the reasons, for those that don't know Taya yet, Taya and I, we've followed each other on Instagram and stuff like that, but I think it was Digital Day. 2019. So it was early. It was like May last year, I think. It was about a year ago. We met here. Crazy. I know, right? In San Diego. We spoke together on I guess it was a panel, but it was more like it was me and you. And then for all of San Diego, it was Digital Day. We talked about digital marketing, yada, yada, yada. And then ever since then, now we've been BFFs. So we've hung out in Miami at Retreat and all that type of jazz. And so one of the reasons I wanted to have you on was because you're low-key a genius in the marketing side of things, especially the digital side. Stop. No, you're really, really good. And I think that compliment. No, it really, I think the people who are watching this, there's a lot of real estate agents, there's a lot of Compass agents, you know, other brokerages and stuff like that. And we're going to repurpose that. This is going to be episode 25 or 6 of the podcast as well. It'll go on Facebook. They're into the real estate side of the marketing. And so I really want to dive into what you do that really, really sets you apart. So first and foremost, tell me where you work, because I said Orange County, but it's LA.
Yeah, I work out of the Manhattan Beach office of Compass in the South Bay. I actually was agent number 1 opening up that office, which is kind of a big deal.
It is.
I feel like, you know, being a trailblazer with Compass over 2.5 years ago is something to really be proud of.
It is.
Because I wouldn't normally consider myself a risk taker, but I was so excited at the time. And so, yeah, I work out of the South Bay. I cover what we call the greater South Bay region of Los Angeles. And so I do Manhattan Beach, Hermosa, Redondo. I live in Hawthorne, so I cover Hawthorne. And then I also do Silicon Beach, which encompasses Santa Monica, Venice, Marina del Rey, Playa Vista, basically the southern part of the beach cities.
Got it.
And what I love is that I love partnering with other agents.
Yeah.
So if there is a listing that the client is passionate about working with me, I'm like, great, I'd love to work with you, but I'm going to partner with another agent that I trust, that way they can service the listing physically better than I could. And then they get the benefit of also working with me, because I really consider myself that empathetic, strategic, creative type realtor, where I love marketing. I love coming up with a specific custom game plan for clients, and they like that. And that's why they hire me. Mm-hmm. So I really love collaborating with other realtors.
Yeah. How long have you been in the business?
I got my license in 2006.
Wow. Okay. So
but I've been working full time as an agent on my own since 2014.
Okay.
on my own. I worked on a team and I started as an assistant in like 2009.
Yeah.
So I've been working in the real estate world since 2009 as an assistant. And then I graduated to a team. And then from the team, I was like, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah, no,
So,
and now you've established yourself as a successful career, right?
yeah,
You've done really well. So, okay, so I've just taking a look at your Instagram. You can see really quickly that you do a really good job of balancing lifestyle content with advice content with beautiful listings. Do you do that all yourself? Talk
I
to me a little bit
do.
about like your process.
Yeah. I've had strategic partners tell me, hey, we can manage your Instagram and we can do that. I'm such a big Gary Vee fan, for anybody who doesn't follow Gary Vee.
Yeah, I just
And
had Liz on last week, his
I
sister,
saw
actually.
that. I saw
Yeah,
his sister. Yeah.
yeah,
And he's a big proponent of like, this is my baby.
yeah.
Like, I want the DMs. I want control. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about connection. It's all about relationships. And I'm a firm believer in that. And if I relinquish control of that, then it defeats the purpose of
100%.
engagement.
Yep.
So yes, I manage it on my own. And but as far as my curated content for video, I do outsource that to a videographer that cuts and edits it for me, because I don't have time for that. But
Sure.
what I do is I have a home studio
Yep.
in the bedroom next to this one, where
Okay.
I have my professional lights and everything set up, and I do my Taya's 2 cent show. I upload it to the cloud. He edits it, spits it back to me, and then I upload it.
How long has Taya's 2 cents been going on?
Not that long.
That's newer, right?
It's newer because
Yeah.
I felt like I was being inconsistent
Mhm.
with having like a regular show. I coach with Tom Ferry. Jason Pantana is my coach, and
Okay.
he was like, look, you have a skill when it comes to being on video. You really need to be doing it more consistently. He challenged me to come up with a show concept. And so we came up with Taya's 2 cents. And so now I air that every week as just, mostly real estate advice,
Yeah.
but also home related or just business related.
Yeah.
Content.
One of the things you just said a second ago is that if you want to be the one who jumps into the DMs and works on the engagement, right? And I really love it too, because anything that has our name on it, Taya DiCarlo, Jason Cassity, we should be running that, right? Like at a certain point, like if you want to do a Cassity team account, then you can have someone run the Cassity team account. But if it says Jason Cassity or Taya DiCarlo, you should be the one responding back to that.
Because that's what they're expecting.
Because that's what people are expecting. They're not expecting to talk to someone else. Now, I mean, again, if you get to the point, neither of us are Gary Vee, right? If you have 18 million followers and you have a team now to follow that out, now you can start to bridge that. But nobody watching this Instagram live is at that point yet. You should be the one absolutely jumping into the trenches. And one thing you do really, really well that I want to commend you with is that when you post a video and people comment on it, you jump in and you like respond in the comments too, which is super helpful. How long does that take you? Like, how long would you say like a day that you spend on social media or in engagement?
Oh, if my husband watches this, he's gonna be like, fucking shit. He thinks I'm on my phone way too much. And and I'll be honest with you, Instagram has become a really great escape for me, because I'm really starving for that connection. And so I really do genuinely enjoy. It's kind of a double-edged sword, because when you have a family, you want to shut off. And I'm always like, oh God, if somebody comments or sends me a referral, I want to be on it right away. I don't want to miss out. And so I am on my phone a lot throughout the day. I don't really have like a scheduled check-in, check-out time, but there are times when I'm not on the phone. When I'm with my family.
How much of your business is referral business? You mentioned that kind of underneath there.
Oh lately, a third.
That's awesome.
It's unbelievable. The number of people who are now coming into my DMs and saying, hey, Taya, do you do this part of LA? I've got someone for you. I have a Zoom call scheduled today with a woman in New York who she's going to be buying a house with me sight unseen in Manhattan Beach because she was referred to me through Instagram. Yeah.
Is that only Compass, or is that other brokers?
Other agents. Like, I mean, Douglas Elliman, Coldwell Banker, they're all over. And in the beginning, when I really started embracing Instagram, at first, I'll be honest, I was like, I don't want other realtors following me. I want my people. I want my sphere. And now I've embraced the fact that my sphere are realtors.
100%. Yeah.
you know,
And
my clients and real estate agents.
it's like this intangible, or like it's unexpected. We didn't get into it necessarily trying to build a big referral network per se through social media, but just by documenting what you do on a daily basis, you're going to attract other real estate agents who want to, you know, get the ins and outs of how you do your business. And then you start to build up people in Chicago and New York and Miami that you didn't even know necessarily were following you. And all of a sudden, last week I got 2 or 3 DMs that were like, hey, do you work here? Do you work? Same exact thing. And it's an unexpected perk that we weren't necessarily going into it to expect, right? Like,
totally. And what I love about you is you love paying it forward. You love inspiring other people. You love it when people take your ideas and run with it. Because
100%.
9 times out of 10, if I tell people what to do, they're not going to do it.
No.
It's like a personal trainer telling you how to lose weight.
We all know how to lose weight.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly. We all know how to eat well.
But nobody's going to do it. I mean, I think for me, the other unexpected perk is the emotional connection that I've developed with either clients or other real estate agents across the country. I had a woman who lives in Atlanta, and if she's watching this, fantastic. She had reached out to me and picked up the phone and called me. And she's like, hey, I'm a real estate agent in Atlanta. I've been having a really hard time, but I saw the post that you and your husband donated some spray sanitizer to a hospital, and you inspired me to get up and do something in my community. And she literally made me cry on the phone.
That's so awesome.
And I'm like, here I am in LA, seemingly having no, you know, connection or relatableness to someone in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right.
And here we are bonding, and she picked up the phone and called me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff like that you're like, look, we can all have a bigger purpose in this world. We're not just here to close a real estate deal. We're here to inspire other people, because
100%.
when you give to other people, you're literally filling that bucket for yourself.
Yeah.
And there's my husband. Say hi, Vinny.
Hey, what up, Vinny?
Hi, sorry.
It's okay.
I have to pay the contract and all the cash is
No worries.
We're doing home improvement projects, which apparently gets great engagement on Instagram.
It does, 1,000%, especially you, because you're real estate. People follow you for real estate stuff. They want to see behind the scenes.
Well, and the guy who did our epoxy floors, he already got 3 deals.
No way.
Swear to God.
Yeah, that's
like
so
I
rad.
had over 700 people tune in to that story and counting. And he texted me this morning. He's like, thank you so much. I already got 3 phone calls.
You're an influencer, Taya.
Micro influencer.
You're an influencer.
Let's
Pretty
not
soon,
give me too much credit. My husband will be like, oh boy.
Pretty soon you're going to have some fit tea and some teeth whitening stuff, and you're going to, I got you. So talk to me. All right. So your content is on point. You're doing it for the right reasons. You're an early adopter in the Compass sphere. At least you were the first agent in LA. What marketing channels are your favorite? And like, where do you spend the majority of your time? Is it, I mean, obviously Instagram, but do you have others?
You know, lately, because I've been doing the Taya's 2 cents, I've been uploading things to YouTube. I'm trying to embrace that a little bit more because I like to challenge myself and not get too comfortable.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I want to share something with everybody because it literally blew me away. Because I know you do this. So you're going to be like, Taya, welcome to the party. But I had a new listing that I launched, and I haven't been on Facebook that often. And yes, I've run ads and blah, blah, blah. But I hadn't run as many business ad manager ads as I could. And so because I had this listing that was going to be fully virtual, you know, 360 tour, even the video of me walking through and blah, blah, blah. That's the one where I jumped in the pool with all my clothes on.
Yeah, you had a viral video. I was going to mention that.
It organically went to like 5,000 views. I was like, what the fuck's happening?
It's over 6,000 this morning.
Is it really? Oh my God, that's so exciting. Yeah. So that house, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a 15-second swipe up ad, you know, similar to like how you do, where I'm like, hey, South Bay, if you've been looking for da-da-da, this one's about to hit the market. Swipe up for more info. Over 24,000 views. Yeah,
it's wild.
24,000, and then over 1,500 the last time I checked visits to the website. Yeah. And I got 6 offers, and this is like in the heart of COVID. Okay, this is like when COVID was like literally don't leave to go to the grocery store. I had 17 qualified showings that all signed the PED form. They all signed, you know, all the disclosures, proof of funds, everything. 6 offers, way over asking.
Yeah, that's wild, right? Through
Craziness.
Instagram, through Instagram stories, through a
Instagram stories,
Instagram story swipe up ad.
It's bananas.
Yeah. Good for you.
And through Facebook too. Like, I just was like, this is nuts to me. And then here I am now, like if I have a Zoom happy hour with friends, they're like, man, you're keeping busy through this lockdown. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I've got bills to pay.
100%.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I had to reinvent what I was doing and pivot a little bit, not to take Tom Ferry. He has his whole series right now called Pivot, but that's exactly what we have to do as small business owners, which is what we are. Pivot and think, okay, how can I survive this? So that way, when things do go back to normal, we're already hitting the ground running.
100%. Is there any tangible takeaway that you would say or tell the people watching that you did to pivot? Like, what exactly changed from February to May, or from March to April, or whatever it was that you would consider a pivot in your business?
More video.
Yeah.
More video. The video is so engaging and being authentic.
Yeah.
Having video, like yesterday, do you really think I wanted to take a video of me looking like Garth from Wayne's World? I had no makeup on.
I didn't see this.
My hair looked like I stuck my finger in a socket. Like, I looked like royal shit, and I'm a woman. You know what I mean? I care about my appearance. I look like shit, but I was like, Danny's here. He just finished our floors. Who gives a shit if I'm just throwing my camera up? And he got 3 phone calls from that and then I just put a little GIF of Wayne and Garth underneath my video, like, don't mind my my Garth-like looks right now, but you know. Yeah.
I have to go back and watch this video. And for everybody, once we're done with this too, you need to go watch Taya's jumping in the pool video, because it did go viral and it was fantastic. I don't know how you came up with the idea or what made you prompt you to do that, but it worked.
It was the first sunny day in a while.
And so you wanted to utilize it, or?
Well, my videographer was like, oh, is that a little tone down? That I was like, but I am going to make a splash with this new listing. And then I looked at her and I was like, I'm jumping in the pool. And she's
you
like,
have to do it.
And she goes, in your bathing suit? I was like, fuck no. I'm like, I'm not putting on my bathing suit. I'm like, I'm jumping in my H&M dress.
Yeah. No, it worked good. You got your virality. It worked really, really well. Good job.
Thank you.
Talk to me a little bit about, and I want to be respectful of your time too, because I know it's 9:30. I'm coming up to the end here, but talk to me a little bit about where you see the rest of 2020 going, right? So are there any channels that you're feeling out that you're like, okay, I'm also going to start using LinkedIn more, or this or that digitally? Yeah. And then I'm going to follow it up with one last question about your email marketing.
Okay. I am trying to use LinkedIn more because I feel like that's an opportunity to touch more of an affluent sphere. Yeah. My husband is a wealth advisor at Wells Fargo Private Bank, and he's on LinkedIn constantly. He's rarely on Instagram. He doesn't own a Facebook account. What? He's just, that's not him. And, but he's also like a face-to-face networker. And so now if you've been a face-to-face networker and you're not able to do that, you're picking up the phone more often, or you have to put yourself out there on video. Yeah. So LinkedIn is something I'm very serious about, because I think I'm missing an opportunity there.
Yeah.
So that's definitely LinkedIn and YouTube. I love TikTok.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I feel like that's going to have me show more of my goofy side.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can still be goofy on Instagram and get 100%. The objective accomplished without having to learn a new skill. Because I'm just totally intimidated.
I didn't mention TikTok. You brought it up, but now this is the 25th episode of the show or whatever, and I'm almost exactly down the middle of people who are like, love it all in, and people are like, not too sure about this yet. And so it's super interesting to see almost in real time, like the evolution, and are real estate agents going to jump on it or not? It's super interesting that you brought that up, because I'm keeping an eye on it as well. Like, I want to be an early adopter, but I haven't figured out per se how I'm going to use it on a daily basis yet. Because
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because you and I are really good at all this other shit.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to jump in and not be really good. Like,
right.
And I don't have someone to teach me.
Yeah.
Like I can go on YouTube and figure it out.
Yeah.
But then I just know that I'm going to be constantly on that. And I don't know. It's a commitment.
There's something there. There's a guy in Beverly Hills, actually. His name's Aaron Grew, I think, or something. And he has over 1 million followers on TikTok already. And all he does, I don't know that he's ever put the camera on himself. All he does is he goes through his multi-million-dollar houses and he does like a house tour and puts a song to it. So it's not necessarily like him doing the dance and being silly. It's him like just showing off $60 million Beverly Hills penthouses and stuff like that. And he's amassed like a huge following. And so I'm wondering like if there's a way to incorporate it. I haven't cracked the code yet, although I'm interested in it. But I think you're right. There's very much more, like if it's a pie chart, that's like 5% or 3%.
Yeah.
There's still Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You still have your big players that you need to be spending the majority of your time on, right?
Right.
So the last thing I wanted to end off with, you have an awesome email campaign, or like you do your email marketing really, really well.
Thank you.
Talk to me about that process, because I'm inconsistent at best. Whenever I do send out emails, I'd say, you know, maybe 2 a month, but it's targeted. It's to, hey, these are to my buyers, and these are to my sellers. But you almost have a newsletter, right? Talk to me about that.
So I have a newsletter, and I got to give credit where credit's due. Almost 3 years ago, so over 2.5 years ago, you know, Ari Afshar is a great agent in Beverly Hills. He has an email that he does consistently called Into the Weekend with Ari and Ari Afshar and Associates. And because he and I work 2 different markets, and he knows I have my email, I decided to make Into the Weekend with Taya.
Got it.
And now I've actually adjusted it a little bit to be Into the Week at Home with Taya during quarantine. And so instead of sending it out on Friday, where prior to the stay-at-home order, it was like, here's your list of open houses, but then, you know, here's a local beer garden that's going to be popping up. Here's a hike that you can do locally. And so I would go out, and I'd have actually like other mom friends who'd be like, I live for your weekly emails. My family and I decide what we're going to do every weekend based on your email, because it's so clean, easy to read, very concise. And so now it's Into the Week at Home with Taya, where I'm like, hey, everybody, here's some, you know, DIY self-care. You know, here's a home project you could do that's not going to cost you a lot of money, but it's really going to increase your home value. And I take a lot of time. It's not canned content, because canned content, people shut it down.
100%.
You know, and so I'm very personal. I actually do, there's a website people should use called EasyGIF. If you just Google EasyGIF, you can make your own GIFs, right? So if I have a video of Taya's 2 cents, I can cut it down to like 5 seconds, upload that 5-second video to EasyGIF, make my own GIF video, upload that into my eBlast. And so now it looks like, wow, Taya's super fancy. It's very personal. And then I'm referring people back to Instagram.
Yes. So now, do you, when you make the Easy GIF, then you can hyperlink it out to link to your video on YouTube or wherever you want them to go, right?
And it gets them to click. My open rate, so I have a 99% delivery rate.
Wow.
I rarely get an unsubscriber, because my list is very segmented. It's like, I know exactly who I'm sending it to. Right now, it's grown to 400 people.
Wow.
But those 400 people, they open it.
Yeah.
So my open rate is close to 50%.
That's wild.
Which is bonkers.
Yeah, the average in real estate, I think, it's 15 or 17% or something like that.
And my click-through is in the 20s.
That's huge. The click-through is like 2 usually, right?
It's like crazy. And last year I closed a couple multi-million-dollar deals from a guy who I'd been trying to get his business for like years, and finally he called me from one of the collections. He goes, hey, Taya, there's this property. Compass has it listed. I want to see it in Manhattan Beach. And I was like, okay. And so I took him to see it. We negotiated the deal. And afterwards I was like, hey, Tom, you know every agent in Manhattan Beach from every brokerage. I said, why'd you use me? And he's like, well, you were just in our faces all the time. And he goes, I mean that in a polite way. And I was like, you mean my e-blast? He goes, yeah, we really looked forward to getting those every week. And this one stood out to us. And we thought, well, Taya's the one who showed it to us. So there you go.
You know what's funny is that you do something really well, and I try to model it as well, but there's nothing we can do as salespeople to make someone spend $750,000 or 1.5 or $4 million on a house when they're not ready to buy a house. That's it's sharky salesmanship. We're just not that good of salespeople to make someone spend $2 million. But what we can do is put out content, valuable content, every day for 2 or 3 or 4 or 7 years, so that when someone is ready to spend $1.5 million on a house, they call you instead of every other agent in Manhattan Beach, right?
That's
right. That's all you did. You never sold the guy. You didn't even know the guy was following you on email.
I did, and it wasn't even my listing.
Yeah. It was just like, part of your public collection.
Take us to see this house. And I was like, okay, but I earned his trust.
100%.
You know, and that's just invaluable. And that's what people need to understand. and I hate to refer this to like health and fitness again, but there's no magic pill.
Yep.
You have to put in the work. You have to be consistent. You have to be strategic. And if you put in the work consistently, then everybody will follow. If you build it, they will come. You just have to be consistent. And that's where I feel like I'm so grateful that I'm finally hitting this stride now, where if you like me, you follow me. If you don't, fuck off. Like, I don't have 100%. To do business with you. If you think I'm annoying and I talk too much, or you don't like something about me, peace be with you.
Yeah.
Move aside.
Yep.
I only want to do business with people who I really get along with, that really like me and appreciate me.
Yeah.
Because the rest of them, like, there's plenty of other realtors that will want to work with them.
Yeah, I know, 100%. And it's, and that's what it comes down to, is we get to be picky and choosy with our clients as well, just like they get to be picky and choosy with us. And by putting out content on a daily, bi-weekly rate, whatever it is that you choose to do that's best for you, people are going to get to know the real you. And those are the type of people who are going to get attracted to you. And then they're going to want to work. You're going to want to work with people that work with you, as opposed to generating a ton of web leads or Zillow leads or things like that and scrubbing them down. There's a place for it. You can get a 3x ROI on Zillow or whatever that may be, more power to you. But by putting out content and letting people attract instead of going to chase the business, you're going to be a lot happier in the end, I think. Yeah, Taya, this was amazing. I'm mad at myself that it even took this long to get you on here, because now we've had a digital day together, we've hung out together, and now we have an awesome interview together.
We can do it again. We've partied together.
We have partied together in Miami after a retreat. Fun times. But I am super, super happy that you came on. Thank you very, very much. My 4-month-old today, actually, son is waking up, and I get to go pick him up and feed him because my wife just went back to work. So I got to call it. But thank you very, very much for tuning in. I'm gonna cut this up. I'll send you the copy, and then we can put it on social media and all that type of stuff.
Sounds
so be safe and have fun with the family today.
You as well.
Okay. Bye, Taya.
Bye. Thanks.